This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
This episode of the 1911 podcast is brought to you by Coral, the proud sponsor of the TalkSport Fan Network. Here for all kinds of fans. For the armchair experts who didn't have enough city points to make that away game. For the football fashionistas that wear claret and amber with pride. And for the nostalgia merchants, because nothing beats the history makers. Whatever kind of fan you are, with Coral's free-to-play reward shaker, win a guaranteed daily reward or offer throughout the season. Simply shake your phone to win. Over 18s only, maximum one reward or offer per player per day, 8am to 8pm. Reward restrictions and requirements and other T's and C's apply. For more information on safer gambling, visit gambleaware.org.
This podcast is brought to you by Coral, and they're here for the fans. At the Fan Network, we have a mission to shake up the game we all love, and that's why we partnered with Coral, who've been shaking things up too. With their free-to-play reward shaker, there are guaranteed rewards and exclusive offers to be won every single day. Whether you're a part of the Badging Brigade, the Away Dayers, or the football fashionistas, Coral's here for the fans. Play Coral's reward shaker and win bigger guaranteed daily rewards and offers this season. For over 18s only, maximum one reward or offer per player per day. Reward restrictions and requirements and other T's and C's apply. Visit gambleaware.org for more details.
Bradford City begin their gear up for their first season in League One since 2019 with plenty of transfer talk to build that pre-season optimism. Join myself and Andy as we discuss City's recruitment and ambitions ahead of the new season. This is the 1911 podcast.
Well, we're back. It's been a bit of an off-season. I think football's ready to come back.
Yeah, it's always hard with the summer, isn't it? You never know sort of when you quite need football back, and it always comes either too late or too early. But I think it's perfect. You know, we're back as well, and we've had a nice long break, but we've got loads to talk about. But first, aftermath of Fleetwood, how are you feeling?
It's elation. It's still one of them pinch me moments for me. But saying that, I think it's kind of worn off. I'm still buzzing. I'm still on a high. I can't wait for football to be back. At the end of last season, we were all saying, I just can't wait for this season to be over. It had ruined us emotionally. But now I've had a bit of a recharge. Fleetwood's done, dusted. The partying's done and dusted. I'm ready to jump back into it. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, before we came on, Chris was saying to me, unfortunately he can't be here today, but Chris was saying to me that it's the aftermath of the Fleetwood actually is massive because the pull of that video of the fans going wild and the scenes that it created, surely that as a potential transfers coming into the club, that's the first thing you show them, right? Is those scenes, that drive and the passion that the fans have. It's got to be a massive pulling factor.
It is a pulling factor, but we're now not the biggest fish in the pond as such, I don't think, in League One.
No, definitely not, but we're up there with some of the most passionate and loudest fans in the league. Although I will say, though, the best thing about the league coming up is that there are so many of these northern teams who travel really, really well. So your teams like your Boltons and your Barnsleys and your Blackpools who take roughly the same numbers as we do everywhere they go. Sure, the home attendances obviously aren't as much to be compared to ours, but they still travel really well and they're loud away fans. So that's probably one of the best things I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think the atmosphere around Valley Parade and away from home this season is going to be incredible. With it, like you say, being more of a northern-based league this season, it's going to lead to better atmospheres for everyone. Do we have that pulling power? We're like I said, we're no longer the big fish in the small pond. There's teams that are going to have a lot bigger budgets. There's teams that really bigger teams. They've had more recent success. Are we going to get the players? I know we're going to go into it in a bit, the signings, but are we going to get the players in that we need to get in? I mean, if you look at
what we've done so far, that's definitely, you'd say we've still got that pulling power.
Well, yeah, we've made some really good signings, but from what the takeaway were from the fans forum I think Rupp doesn't want to consolidate. He wants to go for the season. And I'm all for that, don't get me wrong. But I were pretty dead set on it being a consolidation season, weren't you?
Yeah, I think so. We're going to obviously come on to the fans forum in just a second, but I think we were all sort of saying the same thing, really, that we'll take survival and anything beyond that is fine. But I think, as I said to Gab Sutton on the EFL debate last week, I think the signing of especially Humphreys puts a bit of pressure on us. Like we've gone out and spent money, we spent brass on a player with solid wage packet for this sort of level. So it does put the onus on us now to not just survive, but to try thrive and compete in this league. I'm not saying obviously we're going to be in with a chance of playoffs, but you'd say
I think that's exactly where we will be.
No, I don't think. I think that's what Rupp's deluded vision is. He thinks that I've put the money in, so therefore we have to challenge for playoffs. And he said it himself. He thinks that this budget is enough to challenge for playoffs, and he's probably right. But League One is very strong this year with the teams that are coming down.
It is very strong, but I don't think he's got a deluded vision. I think he's showing and proving to us that he's putting his hand in his pocket. He's doing right by us. We're not there to make up numbers, like he said. And I think what he's brought in, the money that he's put in for players that we've brought in so far has shown that we are going to be up towards the top end of the table. Pushing for playoffs. Do I think us is out of the question? Yeah, but I think we're going to be talking like playoffs for sure. For once, I completely disagree. I'm not even going to give you a chance there. When me and Chris went on the EFL debate with Gab, we said 11th and 12th between us. And I think that's fair because you have to understand, in the same way that we talk about relegation, that there are some strong teams, and you say, okay, well we're going to compete next season, but however, where are these teams that are going to be beneath us going to come from? You'd have to look at teams possibly underperforming in order for us to climb up the table. Teams that have come down, like Luton and Cardiff, who you'd say, oh, well, in theory, they should have the money and the brass to go back up. But those teams would have to underperform, I think, for City to have a chance of finishing above 11th, I think. I know a lot of Cardiff fans, and I know they're in turmoil at the moment. Yeah. They're not happy, and they're not hopeful for next season. They're not 100% sure what's going to happen. And Luton again, they're in free fall.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams like that this season, I think, that are going to surprise us with poorer performances, I think, than what we expect. Because even the teams coming up, I think, looking at Doncaster Port Vale, they're all saying the same thing as us, really. We've got a really strong team. We can not just survive but thrive in this league. And I think someone has to lose out. Obviously, someone has to go down. And with it being
why does it have to be us?
Yeah, well, every team is saying that. Why does it have to be us? Why does that one team have to suffer? We'll get on to sort of other teams' business and where we sort of see ourselves in that. But just hopping back to the fans forum, and I think we really do need to talk about Rupp a bit more and what he's said coming out of that, because that was really the big story, wasn't it? What he said about the club and the ownership and his financial view and plan for the club.
Yeah, I think what's happened with Rupp is the penny's dropped. He saw what happened against Fleetwood. He's seen what putting some extra brass into the club can do to help.
Yeah, so the sort of the quotes that I sort of took away from the interview he did an interview with West Yorkshire Sport as well, and so did Alexander. And the big quote that I sort of saw from it was that maybe sometimes it's better to spend money and make people happy. It's all about the memories. And then he went on to say that at the end of the day, we got promoted, but there's so much left to do, so much left to experience with the club, and it's worth investing that money. And he has seemed to have completely changed tack. It's not. Was it last season after the Newport loss that he was up in arms with the fans on social media, like he was biting social media posts on Instagram about. But yeah, that was only last season. So the switch up that he's had is immense.
Oh, it's incredible, to be fair.
The other thing that caught my eye that he said, he was asked, does this club need an investor to take it further? And he just said no. He just said clear answer no. So that shows you that he's in for the long run now. And like we say, the transfers that we've had so far clearly show that. He looks like a man who is suddenly back invested with the club and cares about trying to climb up the leagues again.
He's on a mission as well. He doesn't even want anybody to come in alongside it. He wants it to be his money, his show. He thinks that he can afford to get us into the Championship. And to be fair, don't get me wrong, we all have that Premier League pipe dream, but I'd be happy with Championship.
Yeah, I think obviously at the moment Championship is a little far outside of our reach. Not in terms of the ambition of the fans and the club and the coaching staff, but in terms of the finances and the players. You would be looking at, okay, we've had investment, but now we would need serious investment. Say we got promoted back to back. You would then need serious investment to keep us in the Championship, because not only would the squad not be up to standard and you'd need a complete overhaul, but one of the other things that came up in the interview was about the training ground and the facilities and obviously the ground itself. It would all need an overhaul and a new face on it, especially obviously the training ground. But again, Ryan Sparks has apparently been in discussion with Bradford Council about trying to get something funded, about the value it can provide to the community, and that's something else that's going to be a long-term product.
I think Bradford Council, they've got to look, especially, I know we keep coming back to the last day of the season, like, They must be looking at the revenue that came into the city on that weekend, and you can only see a good thing coming from having a successful football team, and it helps the city thrive. The whole city, there's that feel-good factor. People are proud to be Bradfordians.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that I know obviously we don't really touch on that sort of side of things on the pod, but I've been involved in the City of Culture this year, a lot of the planning and the performance side of stuff, and it's amazing what it's done for the city itself, and it's turned people's attitudes from we're from Bradford, but maybe don't say that too loud, to no, we're from Bradford and we are actually proud of it. It's made people excited and happy to be involved and in their community, and that's exactly what this club is. It's all community.
Oh, 100%. I think the council need to jump on board while ride the crest of the wave. I'm not saying we need to buy back Valley Parade right now or anything, but to sort us out a place where we can build our own training ground, or with the help of the council build a training ground, we just need that support. And I think it's something that's been severely lacking for many a year. And I think that the council just need to get on board with it. But that's all political, and we have no say whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's all a bit wool over the eyes, isn't it? And sort of, we don't really know what goes on behind the scenes that Ryan and Stefan are doing. One thing that Stefan did allude to was about the Valley Parade ownership, and he said that Gordon Gibbon himself had an agreement on the table, but the gap in valuation, basically, to buy the ground outright is a little too big, he thinks, at the moment to make it worthwhile. But again, one of the big quotes that came out of that interview was him saying, obviously, he put a lot of money into the club and it was a very wise decision, and he said he'd do it again. But then the big sort of thing that I saw was, buying a stadium won't bring you promotion, but a promotion might bring you a stadium. And that's, you know, it's all smoke and mirrors, really. You hesitate to say false promises and things like that, but it gets our hopes up, and he looks like he's invested, but I think that's something that only time will tell.
Is it we got promoted, so let's jump on board with it for now and see how it goes, or we digress? I think that's enough for the fans for him.
Yeah, there was so much.
Ownership.
There was so much that came out of it, so much that was positive as well. Obviously, there was a big transfer that was announced on the eve of it as well that we'll come on to in a second. But the big transfer so far is an outgoing actually, and it's the departure of Richie Smallwood, our captain, who has not had his contract renewed with the club.
Yeah, it's a gamble, that, isn't it? It is a gamble. I mean, don't get me wrong. The boy couldn't take a set piece to save his life. Yeah. I'm not going to miss that. But last season, he became the captain that we wanted from day one.
Yeah, you can't question the leadership, can you?
No.
But I wonder if that is what has been questioned, and sort of the way it was obviously described with Alexander saying it was his hardest decision in 13 years as a manager. And he drove to the northeast to meet him face to face and explained his decisions. He obviously had a bit of time after the season, and I think when Chris described it, he did a really good job of it, and said sort of obviously when you're on that promotion high, obviously you look around at the dressing room and go, oh, I love you guys, you're all amazing. But obviously when the dust settles, you've got to then look at the squad and think, well, we've been promoted here. There's got to be, a few changes in order to get us ready for League One. And he's obviously made that decision. And I wonder if what happened at Swindon away just turned his head slightly.
What was it, that, or was it his legs? I know he played so many games last season, but it's faster paced football in League One. Is it his legs that he couldn't deal with? I don't know. It is a gamble. It shocked me quite a bit, to be fair, and I still haven't quite got my head around it. How he's let him go? I mean, it's a ballsy decision, and if it turns out to be the right one, fair play to Alexander. But he firmly put his head on the chopping block. Just if it doesn't work out with that.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, you have to trust the management, and Alexander clearly thinks he knows what he's doing, and I'd back that all the way. It is. I think it's a bit of a gamble, but if he, like I say, we just have to go with it. Really, there's no other way to look at it.
Yeah, we go with it, and I think the guy which I think he's brought in to replace Smallwood is in Max Power. I think we could all be agreed on that. It's going to be Max Power that sort of like his brought in replacement. It's not a bad replacement. I know he's been away from the English game for a couple of seasons, but the guy's still got it, right?
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. Obviously, the from the training footage, obviously we take all of this for granted for now, but he is training in the number 6 shirt, so you'd assume he's going to be playing number 6. Although Chris isn't as convinced. He's thinking 4-2-3-1 as the formation, but we'll come on to that later because he's wrong. I just think he's wrong. But obviously the worry is that Power is not a 6. He's never played as a 6. Obviously he's more experienced now, and he's older. He's got more of that football nous about him. But he's never been a 6. He's been more of a box-to-box 8.
Yeah, he has, but from a quality point of view, he's got that quality regardless for me. I do think that he'll do it. That is where he's going to play. I've not got a doubt about it. I think he is going to be that holding CDM that's going to be able to ping the ball around and run the game. Has he still got the legs to be that box to box? I'm not sure. So it might be it. So it looks to me personally, it's looking like he's going to be adapting his game. Like you say, all he's done is play box to box, but Alexander's going to be asking him to adapt his game, stay put, run the centre of the park. Don't be the runner, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can definitely see it working. I think that's the positive from this, is that it can work. I don't think it's so far left field to think that he can't play 6. And I think also the way the club have gone about the business as well so far, we've gone early, as have a lot of teams around us. You'd think that if we were going to get a true 6 in, it would have already happened. So I'd expect that he is your number 6, and like you say, I'm happy with that. I think if Alexander thinks he can play 6, he can play 6.
Yeah, I think he's good enough. I don't have any concerns that he's not going to be able to do the job. The guy's got so much experience in the league to begin with. He's been a League One player for most of his career, so he knows what he's getting into. So I've got no concerns whatsoever. It's who goes at the side of him or just a bit in front of him that I'm a bit more worried about right now, to be fair. Who's going to be that box to box? Because Pato or Sass, look at the injuries he had last season. Can they be relied upon for an entire season?
Well, we'll come on to that in just a second, but just while we're sort of on about Smallwood, we'll talk about the two other renewals that have happened so far. Both Sam Walker and Kieran Kelly signing new contracts with the club. All positives with that, I think. I don't have any issues with that. I think, obviously, when people talk about Kelly, we often talk about how he was pre-injury and how good he was. He's definitely got something to offer for the club, so I've got no issues with that. And the same goes for Walker. He was pretty reliable last season. I know he had his moments, but he's going to be absolutely fine for League One, isn't he?
Yeah. I've got no problem with Walker. I like him. I thought when he came in, he did a job. He had so much scepticism around him when he came in because everyone were in love with Lewis. The boy's shown what he can do, and I've got no issue with that contract renewal whatsoever. And as for Kelly, big, strong centre-half, and with the additions that we've made as well on the side, we've got a strong defence, and I think that's what he's building. He's building up a strong wall and then working his way forward with it with his signings.
Yeah, well, that is exactly what we've had, because obviously a lot of our signings, have been defender-focused. So we've had Joe Wright in, Kilmarnock's captain and player of the season. That's a fantastic signing, don't you think?
That's a huge one.
Yeah, obviously we've also had Curtis Tilt in from Salford. Obviously this one got a lot of flack because it got leaked quite early, and obviously the fans went, well, we've just been promoted, why are we signing a player like this? But obviously there's experience to be offered and defensive nous. Without obviously sounding too patronising, you assume he's not going to be starting. It's all experience and numbers. I don't have a problem with that signing, to be honest. If he's been brought in to be a starter, I've got a problem with it. Yeah.
I don't think he's a starting League One player level. Yeah, as a squad player, not a problem at all. It's that experience, like you said, it's having that whole old head in the dressing room. And I think we're going to need a lot of experience this season.
Yeah, and also the two additions at fullback as well. So on the eve of the fans forum, just hours before it, Josh Nowfield signing from AFC Wimbledon, which is probably the transfer of the entire EFL so far. It's an incredible signing, and the pull we've had to manage to get that over the line, I think, is severely underrated.
We got that over the line.
I couldn't believe it. It was a fantastic transfer as well, because obviously all of these that we're going to talk about at some point were leaked. The Max Power one, not so much, but all the others we knew were going to happen because obviously word gets out, and once it is, you can't really stop it. But the Nowfield one came out of nowhere. There was no warning for that, and what a signing as well. And if the club did it deliberately, like really tried to clamp down on any sort of anything being reported, then fair play to them, because the impact of that was huge.
It's massive, and if he hits the ground running, he is going to be a menace to any team he comes up against next season. How we pulled that off, I'm not sure, because the thing is, the boy's got no ties up north either. He's played for Wimbledon, he's born in Luton, so there's nothing else pulling him up there other than what we did last season and the club itself. And to pull that off, absolutely incredible. Yeah. I think it shocked everyone, and I think you're quite right in saying it's probably the signing of the EFL so far. Yeah,
well, from what is coming out of the Wimbledon camp is that obviously his contract was running down in January, and they basically had the choice of selling him in January and they wouldn't have gone up because obviously he was their player of the season, he was the heartbeat of that team on the right side, or obviously keep him and have the chance of promotion but then definitely lose him in the summer. I mean, every League One club would have taken him, I think.
Oh, easily. He could have gone higher. I'm fairly sure he could have gone higher. It wouldn't have been a regular first team starter straight away, but I think he could have gone higher than League One. But that's a coup, that is. Pure and simple. I don't know how we've done it, but fair play to Alexander and Kof, Sharp and Dent for getting that over the line, because we're Bradford, we don't see signings like that.
No, we absolutely do not. But one signing we definitely did see coming, Ibu Toure joining from Stockport on a free. I think that might win the award for the most leaked transfer ever, which was announced as a rumour sort of 2 weeks before it happened. It then sort of seemed to stall, and everyone sort of said, "Oh, is it happening?" And it was confirmed that it was. And then we got the kit launch of him in it. He was in the new away kit, and then the club announced it afterwards in a slightly botched sort of presentation. But it's another great signing, another player with bags of experience. Interestingly enough, obviously, previously in his career has played left wing back as sort of an attacking option, but played left centre back in Stockport's back five as of recent times. So it'll be interesting to see where he is deployed, especially with Richards, who has yet to sign a new contract, but it was rumoured that he is going to. It'll be interesting to see where Toure fits into the side.
I do think Richards is going, so I think left wing back is probably where he's going to be living.
Yeah.
I can't see him going with the defenders that we've signed, the centre backs we've signed. I can't see him being part of that back three.
Yeah, especially with Kelly obviously re-signing a new contract. He was the starting left-sided player, and you'd think that would be his position. Yeah. I hope Richards stays, because I really, really like him. I think he's got so much about him. In the same way that now Phil has, obviously, we're not talking about the same sort of levels, or like consistency, but he definitely has shown that ability. He's a really good player, but yeah, I think it got reported that he was going to sign a new contract, and now that it has sort of died down, I'd expect him to go. What will be, I think, with that one. I think we've covered ourselves enough. Who knows? As well, it's worth pointing out that we still have loans to get in back through the door. So if a player leaves late on, or we've got bags of time. We're not even into July at this point. Matthew Pennington also joining from Blackpool. I really like this signing. I think he's got bags of experience. Again, he's a really solid centre back for this level.
I don't know much about him. I won't lie. I'm not an oracle like yourself. No, he looks all right. He's a big boy, big strapping centre half. Bit from what I've read and heard, bit of a no nonsense style. So I think he'll come in obviously as a starter. He'll probably play on the right side.
So he's right-footed, and he has got experience playing at right back, obviously, as well. So you'd expect he would be the Baldwin challenger, but we will see. And the final signing so far of the window, and the one that stirred, I think, the most in sort of what we thought we could do this season, Stephen Humphreys coming in from Barnsley on a free, and it seems to have been a bit of a hijack transfer as well, because it was reported about 5 days before he signed for us that he was going to MK Dons, and obviously we've taken that and said, well, we're going to maybe poach him, or maybe he wanted to stay locally. You never know with these things. Maybe he didn't want to play for MK Dons. That is entirely plausible. But who would? Yeah, who would? But it's a good signing.
Yeah, it is. And with him being able to play left and right wing at either side, it gives us a bit of versatility up there. I'm not sure whether he's going to be played as a direct striker. I think we're more likely to see him as a winger than a striker.
So the warning we've had from Barnsley fans, also from Hearts fans, obviously, and Wigan as well, is that don't play him through the centre. That's not where he's strongest. You want him on the wings because he's got a brilliant ability with both his feet. So you want him cutting inside to do damage. And when you look at his highlights, obviously, that's where all the damage comes from, is cutting in, being on the edge of the box off to one side. It's a really, really strong signing, and reportedly as well, we have thrown some serious brass at this. It came out of Callum Fowler on social media, who's a well-known Barnsley fan, EFL content creator as well. He said that apparently we had chucked serious finances to get him here, which I don't have a problem with, but like I said to Gab, and I mentioned earlier in the pod as well, it sort of takes us from this position of, right, okay, well, we're just going to go at people, we're not going to mind, we just want to survive, and whatever we do after that is fine, to your sort of idea of, well, no, we have to do something here because we've assembled the squad that should do something. Not as in challenge for playoffs, I don't think, but get top half.
If we're throwing money at players, by which sounds like we're doing, especially with Humphreys, that's got to be the aim. Playoffs has to be the aim, surely. It's not going to be about consolidation. And I don't think a mid-table finish, I think that is consolidation. I don't think we're anywhere near relegation fodder. But,
I mean, this is my comment, is that it's a really strong league this season, and I think someone has to slip up. That's my sort of thinking. I know that's really weird to say, like, obviously someone has to go down, but I think it's, people talked about this when the fixtures came out, and we'll talk about that in just a second, but it's this idea that we sort of got a bit shell-shocked when we looked at the fixture list and went, God, we're not playing Barrow away on a Tuesday night anymore. You know, we're in League One, we've got big fixtures and things like that, and we sort of went from this idea of, yeah, you know, let's take it to, and we're still a big side, to, no, we're actually in with everyone else now, and there are at least 10 teams that I could see going up next season who have all got a case for them. Even teams like that I would have said, oh, well, they're small sides in this league, you would bank them to go down possibly in what is a really strong League One this year, like Stevenage. They've recruited so well. Teams like that, they're not going down without a fight. It's going to be such a free-for-all, I think, next year. There's going to be no givens, I think, really. Because, like you say, the big teams that are coming down aren't that big. Obviously, you've already talked about Cardiff and Luton, who are in free-fall. Plymouth, not so much. Obviously, they had a bit of a revival at the back end of last championship season and have got the finances and the nous, you'd think, to win the league outright this year. There's just so many strong teams.
There is a lot of strong teams. I think when, like, you got Peterborough, they had a poor season last season. I think they'll bounce back again.
Yeah, worth pointing out they've signed Brandon Keller as well for 700,000, I think. So it's obviously that's quite a big fee for League One football, but you'd think he's going right to the very top, as Mr. Redknapp would say.
Yeah, he was something else, wasn't he, Brandon Keller, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see where you're coming from. It is difficult to try and picture the end of the season league table before a ball's kicked. The teams, the smaller, so-called smaller teams, they have recruited well. I think it is a case of we just have to wait and see. But I do think that
this episode of the 1911 podcast is brought to you by Coral, the proud sponsor of the TalkSport Fan Network, here for all kinds of fans. For the armchair experts who didn't have enough city points to make that away game. For the football fashionistas that wear claret and amber with pride. And for the nostalgia merchants, because nothing beats the history makers. Whatever kind of fan you are, with Coral's free-to-play reward shaker, win a guaranteed daily reward or offer throughout the season. Simply shake your phone to win. Over 18s only, maximum one reward or offer per player per day, 8am to 8pm. Reward restrictions and requirements and other T's and C's apply. For more information on safer gambling, visit gambleaware.org.
This podcast is brought to you by Coral, and they're here for the fans. At the Fan Network, we have a mission to shake up the game we all love, and that's why we partnered with Coral, who've been shaking things up too. With their free-to-play reward shaker, there are guaranteed rewards and exclusive offers to be won every single day. Whether you're a part of the Badging Brigade, the Away Dayers, or the football fashionistas, Coral's here for the fans. Play Coral's reward shaker and win bigger guaranteed daily rewards and offers this season. For over 18s only, maximum one reward or offer per player per day. Reward restrictions and requirements and other T's and C's apply. Visit gambleaware.org for more details.
as a squad. I don't buy into this. There's got to be a team that misses out, and it's going to be us. I just cannot buy into that right now.
Yeah, well, every team is, like I say, every team is going to be feeling like that. Every team will, for God's sake, not want to be the one that has to bite the bullet and go down. And like I say, I think there will be some big upsets. One of my best mates is a Wigan fan, and he was saying that, you know, they're supposedly in quite free fall as well, and that they're just not really sure what they can offer this season. And I think there's a few teams like that, but I think it's this middle of the table that obviously we're talking about, because you've got to remember there's Reading are going to be in the league this year, and
Are they still having ownership problems?
no, they've got new owners now, so you'd expect them to bounce back. They finished just outside the playoffs last season, I think. Yeah. In the middle of that table, there are so many big sides you expect. You've got your Boltons, your Blackpools, your Barnsleys. They're all big teams. I'm not panicking at all, but we should be fine. I don't know. We don't know.
You're not panicking, but I think you're being too cautiously pessimistic, I'd say. I don't like it. Where's your optimism?
Yeah, well, I mean,
so often we get to be optimistic as City fans, and for me, bring anyone on like this season, because, like you said, anybody can beat anyone. Yeah, why can't we be the ones to be beating everyone?
Yeah, the optimism for me is obviously the home form. Like, you going into a new season, especially as a promoted side, you want something to cling to, and our home form, obviously, and our defensive record is what would drive us, you think, to survive. Because the other sides that came up, aside from Wimbledon, obviously, us and Wimbledon, we had the best home record, Wimbledon's second best home record, and then Wimbledon best defence and our second best defence. But Doncaster only beat two teams in the top 10 at home all season, and that was Colchester in April and us in April. And I can't remember what Port Vale's record was, but they lost quite a few at home as well to sides you wouldn't expect a team that went up in second to really do. Who knows? Right, let's move on to the fixtures, because we've been alluding to this for a long time now. But starting the season off at home, which I think is good. It's the right way to start the season, especially as coming up. So we've got Wickham at home. Tough game. Obviously missed out on promotion in the playoff semi-finals last season. Recruited well. They've signed Taylor Allen recently from Walsall. Fantastic signing that is. It's going to be a tough first game, but there's no reason, again, why we can't give every team in this league a run for the money at home.
Yes, especially with the more southern teams as well. They've got a lot of travelling to do this season. So it's probably not going to have that much of an effect with it being first game of the season. But as the season goes on, the southern teams, I think they're going to struggle.
Yeah, I get your point, because if you gave the option of, well, who would you rather play on the first day of the season? Would you rather play Wickham, who've got to travel all the way up from North London, or would you rather play a Barnsley or a Huddersfield or any team in that northern bracket that are going to pack out the away end? Because no disrespect to Wickham, but you'd assume that they might not sell it all out. Maybe you get the upper tier of the TL Dallas and the Midland Road, but not the bottom tier. You never know. But
I think they'll bring a fair few, because even though they might not be one of the biggest clubs or whatever, it's a new stadium in the league.
Exactly, yeah, and it's one that these teams haven't ticked off in a while. That's a good point. First away game, Saturday the 9th of August, away at Northampton Town. Again, it's not bad. It's quite an easy. That will be an easier fixture, you'd think. Northampton, one of the teams tipped to go down this season, but again, nothing's a given. No,
and then we're away at Blackburn. Didn't we have Blackburn in first round last season, or was that the second round?
I think we've definitely had them over the years in the cup. We faced them away in the league. I think that was just post-COVID, possibly. Not as in post-COVID, as in we were still segregating things like that, but in the first season of like proper fans back in stadium sort of thing. Because we were in terrible form and we got hammered, and I don't think we had a shot on target all night. And it was one of those that you think, I'm not gonna go, and then you go anyway, and you go, well, why did I go? Some of the highlights from early on the season: Stockport away again on a Tuesday night. It feels like we can only ever play them on Tuesday nights.
I can't believe you've glazed over Luton.
Yes, Luton as well on the Saturday, the 16th of August. That'll be a great.
That's going to be our first biggest test. That'll be our first big test of where we're looking to land this season. I know that I said that they are a bit in free fall, but even though they're still getting parachute payments.
They're getting parachute payments, yeah, you can't forget that.
So they've got money to throw around, and that'll be a big test. But again, it's the travelling aspect. It's quite a congested start to the season. They'll have played on the Tuesday or Wednesday night as well, and then they've got to come up to Bradford. So that could play to our advantage. But I think that's our first major test of League One football.
Well, another test. The whole month actually of September is going to be very interesting because we've got Doncaster away on the 6th, and then the big one, Huddersfield at home on the 13th, followed by Cardiff away on the 20th, and then Blackpool at home on the 27th. That's a big month.
That's a huge month. Huddersfield obviously is going to be massive. I can see Sky picking that up.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out. Someone pointed out underneath all the fixtures on Twitter that if you booked holiday or you've got leave or anything, don't even bother, because these are going to be all. I expect most of these sometimes to be moved. Even just your fairly big games like against like things like Bolton away. You could even look at that possibly being moved and things like that. It's all subject to change, but the Huddersfield one you'd expect would be moved.
I'm expecting Huddersfield to be moved. I mean, how close is that to international break? When is that?
I don't think that one is. Is it? I think is the Cardiff game the international. I can't remember. I'm not even going to blag and say I know. If you find out, then obviously let me know. Moving into the Christmas fixtures, Leyton Orient away on December the 20th, followed by Wigan at home on Boxing Day. Really looking forward to that one. I think that's a classic Boxing Day fixture. Two teams that are fairly close. That'll be a lot of fun, I think, that one. Port Vale at home on Monday the 29th, and then away on New Year's Day at Mansfield. Yeah, these are all.
It's a bit of a meh.
Yeah, well, a lot of not just us as well. Obviously, our reaction to our fixtures as well was mixed for reasons we're going to come on to in January as well, and at the end of the season. But a lot of teams as well saying that they're not too happy. A lot of people saying they've got Blackpool away on a Tuesday night or something like that, and it's. Or they've got Blackpool in January, like we have. We've got Blackpool away on Sunday the 4th of January, which is going to be freezing. At least they've got a roof on the stand now, but it's not going to make much difference. There was a lot of mixed reaction, and especially in this era where people are quick to point out fixtures that seem destined to happen. Like someone pointed out that of course. Birmingham are playing Ipswich on the Friday night as your opening game of the season. There's fixtures like that seem destined to be put on big nights.
Yeah.
But for us, not so much. The main one that a lot of people were up in arms about was that we play Huddersfield away on Saturday, the 24th of January. You want these big matches against your local rivals to be in good weather conditions. And that one isn't going to be. It's either going to be freezing or it's going to be raining. You would bet your money on both. One of those two. Or both, yeah. It could be freezing rain. Probably both. Yeah. Because it's only ever sunshine in Bradford, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, it better be for game before against Cardiff. I'm coming up for that.
Yeah. Well, obviously, the Cardiff game as well away, I'll be looking to come down to use as well. Luton away on Saturday the 7th of February. I will be looking forward to ticking that one off. I'll be very excited for that one. I've got a season ticket this year as well after many years away at university, so that just gives me that little bit of edge in loyalty points. I'm looking forward to it. And then moving into our Easter fixtures, Burton away on Saturday the 21st of March, followed by Plymouth at home. I think that one is an international break, if I remember rightly, over Easter possibly. Or maybe is it Plymouth away that's in the international break? I might have got that wrong. Yeah, and November 15th, that'll be an international break, won't it?
Yeah. But it's not a nail biter of a game, is it?
No, I think that one could be your write-off game. I think Plymouth are one of your big teams to have a go at the title. Then the last game talk about April 1st, Wickham away on the 6th, then Stevenage at home, and Barnsley away is your 18th, Saturday the 18th. Another big game, that obviously. Yorkshire Derby, haven't played them in a fair while. And then your two final games of the season, Bolton at home on Saturday 25th. That'll be a lovely one, nice and sunny, hopefully. And then the one that people are obviously up in arms about, Saturday the 2nd of May, Exeter City away to end the season. It's not a great way to end the season, is it?
No. And thing is as well, if it's got anything riding on it, St James's Park isn't that big either.
No. But I'd suspect that there will be nothing riding on that game, possibly for both teams. But you never know. It's not like you say, it's not a massive ground. It's a long trip, second longest we'll have to do all season. And it's not, like you said, the away allocation is going to be fairly small. Just over 1,000, I think it is off the top of my head from the last time I did it. But I mean, it's all subject to change. Who knows? But it's at the end of the day, we've got to play each team twice, and we'll play some at home, some away.
We'll win some, lose some.
We'll win some, lose some, and some will be draws. And I think there's nothing more to be said after that.
Well, there is. I do need to point out how pessimistic you're being is ridiculous.
I don't think I'm being pessimistic. I think I'm being realistic, because if you look at this league, there's a lot of big teams, and even now looking at it, I went into this season thinking, who's going to go down? It'll be a small team. Burton Albion, Northampton, Stevenage, and one other team, maybe one of the newly promoteds, aside from us. I don't see that now. Like I already said about Stevenage recruited well. Burton have been teetering on relegation and probably won't want to do it again. Northampton have recruited quite well recently. It's a strong League One, and especially with your super teams as well. It's sort of all trickling down. Even mid-table Peterborough spending big, Huddersfield dropping big money as well. You never know, but what we will do absolutely is give it our all in every game.
So you gave your prediction to Gab of 12 for it.
Yeah, I think Chris said 12th and I said 11th, and I think that's bang on the money. I don't see us getting any higher than that. If we do,
you've been spending
that's
too
incredible.
much time with Gab. That's what
yeah.
it is.
Well, I'd like
to.
No, I will never turn into Gab, because Gab said that he was worried about Sam Walker in League One, and that is a horrendous opinion. I will never turn into him. Sorry if you're listening to this, Gab, but I will never be you. And I think mid-table mediocrity isn't a bad thing. And even if we finished a point above relegation, everyone would come out and say, well, survival was always the goal, let's kick on from here. And I don't think there's any problem with that.
I think people would be disappointed with the signings that we've made.
Inside people would be disappointed. But at the end of the day, if we stay in League One, that's objective achieved, isn't it?
Yeah. Objective is stay, but I think the club's ambition has to take over a little bit, and for me, I'm going top 6.
Who do you see then? I'm just out of curiosity. I disagree with you, but I'd like to reason with you at least. Who do you see then that of these big teams that is going to have some sort of, well, not catastrophic nightmare, but that are going to underperform?
For me, I think Cardiff might struggle to go straight back up.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's fair enough.
Luton, even though they've got the parachute payments, have they got anything to offer?
I wonder if they might be sucked into it a bit. That they're sort of in, like you say, they're in free fall and they can't seem to almost ground themselves and say, right, we're in League One, so we've got to do something about that. I think they might play the football of the Championship and fail to do that. Maybe they do a bit of a Notts County like last season and sort of stumble towards the playoffs, but then ultimately don't turn up in the playoffs. I don't know. I think the Dog Botherers are going to do quite well this season. As much as it pains me to say, I think they've spent big. It all hinges on Lee Grant really, because he's obviously got not a lot of managerial experience, but
as long as we take 6 points off them, I don't care what they do.
Yeah,
I just want 6 points off at Dog Botherers. The only other team in this league that I'd like to see do all right would be Lincoln. And I'm looking forward to playing Lincoln again.
I am desperately disappointed that I am missing Lincoln at home. I will not be there for that match, but I will do everything in my power to get to Lincoln away on Tuesday, January 27th.
It's a big...
It will be an emotional day, obviously. It's the first time we'll have played them in something like 11 years, isn't it, or something like that. It's quite a long...
In a league game, it's a fair whack of time, but obviously there's the affinity between the two clubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I always look out for them. I always want them to do all right. So I'd like to see them up there. But as long as the likes of Donny are below us, as long as the likes of Huddersfield are below us, I think Peterborough will be up there.
This episode is proud to be sponsored by Now, where you can stream Sky Sports flexibly. Catch the biggest games this season how you want, when you want. The football season is back, and you can keep up with all the action on Sky Sports with a Now membership. Whether you're perched on the edge of your sofa or hiding behind it, you can capture more of the drama this season with Now. The heat of the moment, the 90th minute winner, that last-ditch tackle, the pride on the line, and the best bit, you can dip in for the derby or stay for the season. With a Now month membership, you can stream all Sky Sports channels flexibly. No fuss. Go to nowtv.com to find out more about sports memberships. 18 plus, UK only. Minimum speed 2.5 megabits per second. Live scheduling may be subject to change. Full terms apply.
With us and Stockport. Stockport, they threw a lot at it last season. Have they got enough to throw at it again?
Yeah, I think we said this, was it last season? I can't remember, where they missed out on it, and then this season just gone they missed out as well. I can't remember. Did they get promoted the season before last? I can't remember how long they've been in League One now.
No, they went up last season.
So they went up 23-24. They went up and they went for playoffs. This season. So. I can see them having another go to get autos. It's you never know. It's like with the Wickham situation, where it's slightly different for Wickham because they have, I think, a little less financial backing than Stockport have. But it's about asset retention, isn't it? When you don't go up. Same for Leyton Orient with Dan Agai moving on and their striker Charlie Kelman, who's obviously gone back to his parent club QPR. It's about how you rebuild, and even for the promoted sides, it's about how you rebuild. How do you restructure this team to compete? And every team has a different way of doing it, and a different situation. Obviously, we've looked at ourselves, who are just really offloading dead wood. We haven't got any elite players who are going to be snapped up. Same for Donny at the moment, really, as well, and Port Vale. But Wimbledon obviously have been picked clean almost, although they have recently tied Marcus Brown down to a new contract, which is really good for them. I think it will be a free-for-all, I'll say that. But I will say that I think Plymouth will win it outright.
That's fair. I won't go against that, to be honest. They had a really good end to last season. So I probably won't go against that. I do think we'll be up there. One thing I did want to touch on, moving away from fixtures a sec, we've strengthened in so many areas. What left has Alexander got to do?
We need another central defensive midfielder. We need another 6. It's been something that the club has really lacked, I think, for a long time. Ever since Kevin McDonald went into his sort of coaching position and then left the club, I don't think we've had enough support in that 6th position. But that is because I suppose we've had a captain who has played every game of every season in that position since we came down to League 2. But I'd like to see another number 6 in that slot, whether it's another Kevin McDonald or whether it's a young player coming in on loan. I think that is a place we need to strengthen. And the other place people are really talking about is a striker. That's the big picture, obviously. There was the massive rumour about Wells coming back, which seems to have lost traction. No, I'm not talking about that terrible article that was written as complete bait that cropped up recently. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about before that, obviously, where we knew his contract was expiring. But it looks like he's destined for higher things. I recently pointed out that Mullin has gone to Wigan from Wrexham, so Wells linking up with the manager who started it all for him, Phil Parkinson, is another plausible route for Naki to take. I don't care where he goes, just don't go to Huddersfield. That's all, and that looks very unlikely because they've got their eyes set, I think, on bigger fish as well.
No, I do. I think he's got a good couple of seasons left in Championship.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're talking about a player here who stepped into a Bristol City team destined for the playoffs and scored a fair few goals for them throughout his time there. He's definitely got legs for the Championship. So I think the Wrexham call is fairly safe. I think we'll wait to see that come through. How about you? Where do you think we need to strengthen?
We striker. I think Cavs is too green to do it on his own, and right now Cook is a massive unknown of how he's going to come back from this ACL.
Yeah, so just it's worth pointing out that during the interviews that happened after the fans forum, Graham Alexander did come out and say that Cook will not be ready for the start of the season. That is a fairly set in stone thing. Though he is back in training with a ball at his feet with everyone else, which we hadn't seen prior to this, which is fantastic. He looks in good shape, which we seem to have said every season now when he's come back after this summer break, that he looks leaner and meaner, which is good.
He does. It's just you do your ACL, and it goes one of two ways. You're either crack on and you're the same player you were, or if not better, or you become this injury-prone half a player than what you used to be.
Yeah,
and we can't afford to have that Cook if it turns like that. So I think we do need to get someone in to shoulder the burden of being that leading man. But again, has the typical number 9 sort of striker like Cook, is it disappearing from the game? Like, is it as required as much anymore because you've got so many wingers that are cutting on the inside, and they're also like interchanging? Is an out-and-out striker even wholly needed anymore?
I think it's adapting. I'll definitely give you that. During the DFL debate with Gab, I talked to him about comparing how Cook can learn from other strikers that I've sort of seen and how his game can adapt into ours. And I compared him to Billy Sharp, actually, when he was at Sheffield United, in the sense that he stopped being a target man later on in his years, and he'd disappear entirely for games, and then he'd get to the end of the game and he discovered that he'd scored a hat-trick against you because he was just Johnny on the spot constantly. He was always there on the penalty spot ready to score. And I think in this system, especially when we play with inside forwards, that could be perfect for Cook because it stops him having to do the hard yards and pressing high. That can be left to your Pointons and your Humphreys and other players in those positions, those inside forwards, which means he has to do less running. He doesn't have to chase every ball. He can just be ready to receive those crosses and be more of an old-fashioned target man, I suppose. We don't need to play directly through him every time. You look at Man City with Haaland, just because he's a massive number 9 doesn't mean that Ederson's hoofing it up to him every chance he gets for Haaland to knock it down. They play around him, they don't play through him, and that's how we need to treat Cook, especially in League One, I think. Because our strengths are on the ground now. That's clear to see. We need to keep the ball on the ground.
I totally agree. I think maybe another winger, probably a youngster on loan, I'd like to see.
Yeah, the loan market is something sort of I touched on that we've still got to sort of dip into. You'd expect maybe someone on the left side to come in on loan, especially if Richards leaves. Obviously, we haven't touched on Teo, but we assume he's not going to come back, obviously, after we...
I'd love him too.
We'd love him too. But it looks unlikely now that we've signed Torre, obviously. And it's worth pointing out that Tyreek Wright's still at the club as well. What role he has to play is still left to be decided. Hell, Clark Adwoa's still on the books. There's players that are still...
Can't see him getting anywhere near the team.
No, you can't. He only got into the team last year because everyone was crocked, really.
Yeah,
and
literally.
I will thank him though. He did score away at Barrow, and that made me very happy. But there's quite a few players that we still got to offload. There's still time, obviously. We've got obviously July 1st to roll round when all the contracts will be decided and finalised, in the sense that if a player's moving on, they're moving on. And we've still got a month left of proper window of July before the first game of the season, and even then obviously you've still got time into August to assess the squad in the league and go, right, well, we're clearly lacking in this position. There's plenty of time for us and every other team to adapt, and that's the joy of pre-season, I suppose.
100%. And like, before we wrap up, let's just touch on his pre-season schedule quickly. Chorley away, Pickering town, SV Reed on the Austria trip again, Campion, and then Borough at home. Oldham Athletic, that'll be a lovely away day, that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done that one.
And then you've got Park Ave, the usual.
Yeah,
for the Memorial Trophy. Not a bad pre-season, to be fair.
No, I like that we're doing these these beer garden teams now. It's really good. Looking forward to the Chorley one, because I didn't go last year, and then I saw everyone obviously on the tables outside enjoying it in the sun. I will definitely try and get myself down to that one. We've also got FC United of Manchester to do, haven't we?
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah,
I believe tickets have just gone on sale for that one as of today. I like these pre-season fixtures. Obviously, the Middlesbrough one is a bit more of a, okay, well, what can we do against big teams sort of schedule. But yeah, it's good. I do like these, how we do pre-season now here. We don't say, right, well, we're gonna test our mettle. We just say, right, we're gonna get the lads in. We're gonna have this really intense trip out to Austria, which has become obviously the highlight really of the pre-season, is this super intense few days we do out there with the fixture as well. From what the players said last year, it was seriously like a fitness builder, and it kept them on nearly to the end of the season with how they built all the stamina. So that only good things come from that usually. Yeah,
100%. Like, it's, I quite like the Austria trip. It, like you say, it does what it says on the tin. It is pure intensity, and a lot of the time, I'm a firm believer as well in that the fittest teams tend to become the best teams in the league. You might not have the best footballers, but if you've got a team that can keep going for a full 90, they'll beat any team that's got a little bit of quality that can only last 60 minutes. So yeah, I'm all for that trip. But I think that's about time where we look to wrap this up for now, I reckon.
Yeah. Before we do finish, would you like to rescind your call of we're getting playoffs?
No, not at all. It's happening. I'm sorry, right? I'm going to ride the crest of this wave of optimism. How often do we as Bradford fans get to be optimistic and look at the season and think we're going to do something good here? So, no, I'm sticking with it. And as long as we get 6 points over Cardiff, so I can abuse a lot of my friends down here, job's a good one. But, yeah.
Well, there you have it then. Bradford to get playoffs, we'll see. We will see, but from us too, it has been a pleasure, and it's good to be back, isn't it? We've had a nice long break, but it's good to be back on the pod, and we will be back in the coming weeks with more transfer updates, more of pre-season chat, and more of us.
Yeah,
three.
I think we're going to just keep it a little bit more sporadic through pre-season, because otherwise we're going over much of the same. But then roll on the season, we're back at it full time, get on it and crack on.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to catch you in the next one.
Yeah.
Goodbye from me and Andy.
This episode is proud to be sponsored by Now, where you can stream Sky Sports flexibly. Catch the biggest games this season how you want, when you want. The football season is back, and you can keep up with all the action on Sky Sports with a Now membership. Whether you're perched on the edge of your sofa or hiding behind it, you can capture more of the drama this season with Now. The heat of the moment, the 90th minute winner, that last-ditch tackle, the pride on the line, and the best bit, you can dip in for the derby or stay for the season. With a Now month membership, you can stream all Sky Sports channels flexibly. No fuss. Go to nowtv.com to find out more about sports memberships. 18 plus, UK only. Minimum speed 2.5 megabits per second. Live scheduling may be subject to change. Full terms apply. This podcast is brought to you by Coral, and they're here for the fans. At the Fan Network, we have a mission to shake up the game we all love, and that's why we partnered with Coral, who've been shaking things up too. With their free-to-play reward shaker, there are guaranteed rewards and exclusive offers to be won every single day. Whether you're a part of the Badging Brigade, the Away Dayers, or the Football Fashionistas, Coral's here for the fans. Play Coral's reward shaker and win bigger guaranteed daily rewards and offers this season. For over 18s only, maximum one reward or offer per player per day. Reward restrictions and requirements and other T's and C's apply. Visit gambleaware.org for more details.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.